We are live.
And we're back.
Hey, how you doing, Gary?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. Thanks for having me on a new show that I'm going to call Talking Smack with LAK. And this is maybe it'll become a thing. Who knows? We'll see.
No.
You know?
Yeah, I think we're on at a good time. I know you were needing to get on the YouTube because Ed's not around. So
Yeah, my normal hot toys, hot coffee. Excuse me. Will be next week. Ed's in Detroit this weekend, traveling right now, and I know he's got two new hot toys to unbox. I have one arriving on Monday and one arriving on Wednesday, and maybe another one Friday. So we're gonna have probably a supersized show next week with lots of new stuff to show off. So thanks for letting me
awesome.
plug
What's
that.
going on, Brother B? Mr. B is here.
Mr. B, good to see you.
I see now that everybody's been saying that StreamYard has changed their shit, and like, man, even on the phone, it's changed.
Oh, I've never done it on the phone, but I haven't been on in forever. I've been on people's streams, but as far as setting it up, what's different?
Well, you have, instead of just clicking, the first thing I've noticed is instead of just clicking on a comment and it just going, you have to confirm it. So that's a pain in the ass.
Oh, you can't just click it and put it on the screen anymore. Okay, yeah, that does suck.
Yeah, you have to hit it twice.
Oh, I see. Yeah, I see you doing it. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I should have turned my thing the other way. I put the camera over here for whatever reason, and then that's where you have to touch shit.
Oh,
so
we got to get you an HD camera to plug in and get you live.
One of these days we'll go high.
Hey, maybe I pull your name for Secret Santa. Who knows? You know.
Hey, who knows? So yeah, well, good to see everybody.
Yeah, man. Thanks, people. Look, Duff Man, there he is, saying hello.
Well, we don't have much of a plan here. We're just
we are just shooting the shit for
talking smack with LAK and Gary.
I'm allowed to curse on your stream, right? I know a couple other ones.
Oh, fuck yeah!
There it is.
Okay. Oh yeah.
So I wanted to tell you, and for the people watching, LAK does have an unboxing to do. It was something for me, but it's out of out of respect, of course. But I felt bad because I've had a figure here since December that I purchased for you, as you know, and I just haven't boxed it. And I wanted to put it with other stuff, but the stuff I just sent you came from Amazon, so they did all the heavy lifting.
They did all the heavy lifting. Yeah.
Did sending. So he's gonna show that off, and we're just gonna talk and see what
we'll
what people want to talk about. Yeah.
Hello, JT, Bridezilla. If I missed one, there's this damn thing up that says share your referral link. It's covering up some of the comments. So if I miss anybody, please. We'll.
Yeah, I see that too. Yeah, that's weird.
I also need to figure out. It's probably not something you can do on the phone, but I think you can make somebody like a co-host, and then they can do the.
Oh, I think there's a way to do permissions. Yeah. Again, I don't do a lot of live streaming.
The live streaming is where it's at, Gary.
Yeah, I know. I got to get with it. I got to get with the program. But as you can see, I mean, there's a face for radio here. I don't mind talking, but I like to be a writer or a producer.
I like the Telly Savalas look. I almost did it myself.
Dude, I lost that battle about when I turned 50. So it's finally time to give in and just, do the head shave every couple of days. Yep.
Well, you get a nice bell-bottom 3-piece suit,
That's right.
And get you a J-frame 38, and you
put on another 100 pounds and get a white suit and do Kingpin for Halloween. Whatever.
I guess you could do. I think Kojak is cooler than Kingpin. Myself.
It is cooler. I don't know how many people would get it, but yeah, we would. But yeah.
Well, the cool people would. Hey, we got one of the long boys here.
Nice there we go. Long time ago. Welcome.
Welcome. In the screen while I'm fucking. Old Palpy Baby is here. Good to see everybody.
If you spin your phone, will it just reorient? I mean, mine will do that.
You know what? I don't know.
Do it. Try it. What can happen?
Let's back try it. All right. Let's all take a trip.
Hang on, guys. Hold. Look.
Am I right side up?
Yeah.
Wow. It is.
See that?
Phone.
Look at that.
Smartphone. Yeah, I don't know why I usually put that fucker on this side. I think it's to catch this stuff.
Right.
And
you can access that thing better now as far as
see, look, you can't even see my finger up there now.
Yeah. Cool.
How about that?
Hey,
How
look, we
about
got
that?
Pod Racing Palpatine has just joined us. Thank
Yeah,
you.
good to see you. And Martin, everybody. The gang
And
is
dude,
all
we're
here.
just talking. We're just no real agenda here besides
We don't got
opening.
yeah, we
Just
don't have much planned here, you guys. We just thought
no.
we I was telling Gary earlier, and I'll share this with everyone now that we're started. But so there's I don't know if anybody's heard of the Star Wars alien called the Herglick.
Mm.
And I saw it on a video, I think about Black Chrysanthemum. But anyway, so if you're familiar with a Herglick, let me know in the comments.
Yeah, I
But
wasn't.
You never heard of one, huh?
Mm-mm.
Well, I'm a big Star Wars fan. I never heard about it, you know. But so I was looking at these photos of a Herglick, and the guy looks just like this.
That's too funny. Like a street shark.
Looks just like, I mean, the one I saw is even orca colored.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
got the white. So like
Excuse
you
me.
just I picked this up off of eBay. Of course, this orca thing is like, these are super expensive, right? But I found one with
Mhm.
an arm, so it immediately became like $9.
Dude, I bet you can find an arm online somewhere too. Someone's got one for a
Maybe I
couple of
was
bucks.
even thinking if I found I mean, it could be like we could make a robotic arm. It is Star
Oh
Wars.
yeah, cyborg that shit up. Absolutely.
Cyborg it up or whatever.
Yep.
But yeah, so if when y'all get a chance, not now, but when you get a chance, type in Star Wars Herglick
Right.
and tell me if that alien doesn't.
Yeah,
There's
please.
supposed to be some aquatic sentient being.
Tim says this not ringing any bells, and then JT says Telly Savalas was brilliant. I love him in Kelly's Heroes. Good call. And in
Absolutely.
Capricorn 1. Now, is that the movie with James Brolin and OJ? Capricorn? Well, that's what I know as Capricorn 1 with the space mission. Did you ever see that movie?
I don't think I've seen that.
Dude, that fucking movie's awesome, dude. They're going to space, and it's fake, but they don't tell the astronauts. So basically, the NASA and the government have to try to kill them. They crash or they escape, and they're out in the desert somewhere, and they split up. And the whole movie is the government trying to find them. And OJ and James Brolin is another guy. And yeah, that's the whole movie, Capricorn 1. And them trying to get to a phone or a news station somewhere to tell somebody, hey, we're still alive. It's real. Anyway, yeah, but that's the same movie.
I have not seen that. I did watch an OJ movie the other day with Sophia Loren and James Coburn, and I can't remember the name of it, but it's pretty awesome.
Huh? I can't think what that would have been.
Man, I wish I could. It has some, super cool 70s,
right?
Condor or some kind of name like that.
I used to know a kid in high school, Mark Morris. He looked just like James Coburn. Like if James Coburn was a 17-year-old kid, that's what he looked like. And Mark looked just like him. Yeah, I used to get it all the time. Pod Racing Palpatine.
Look.
Okay. Pod Racing Palpatine knows about it. Okay.
Yeah, he knows.
Looks like an orca with legs. All right.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I saw that. I saw it on one of those. It wasn't Meta Nerds or Generation Tech. It was the other guy, like Greedley's or whatever. But he always does those, the full life of Tarkin or whoever.
Right.
And he did Black Chrysanthemum. And so somewhere in there, he was like, oh, because it was, about when he's like the prize fighter or the pit fighter, whatever they call him in Star Wars. So there was like a Gamorrean, and then Chrysanthemum, and then there was this thing, a Herglick. And I said, well, we must make one of those.
Yeah.
I said,
did Chrysanthemum and Chewie ever meet in the books at all? Did they cross paths, or is that something that maybe would be later on? I don't know.
I think I've seen a video where they talk about Chewie and Black Chrysanthemum having a big fist fight.
Okay.
So JT says yes, that is the movie. I haven't seen that.
All right. It's a 70s release. Yeah, look it up. That's
what's a good Telly Savalas movie is The Scout Hunters with Maureen O'Hara and Burt Lancaster.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen that one?
Years ago. I remember them. Yeah, I remember seeing it years ago.
I like that one. I like that one.
We're old school kids.
Man, that's like a free Amazon Prime movie. You know?
Yeah, yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah, there's a lot of good ones. Well, hey, you want to open this? You want me?
Hey, it's up to you, man. It's your show. Let's go. Yeah,
It's our show.
it's time for a little show and tell. So I just again, I saw this, and once you open it, you'll understand. I was cracking up because it's a recent development in your life. Let's just say that.
Oh, really?
And
Uh-oh.
it couldn't have tied in more perfectly. And you'll know as soon as you see it. Yeah.
There's only a few recent developments, so
That's right. That's right.
I kind of already can.
You could get a guess which area, professionally speaking, I'm referring to.
Hey,
So,
here's Gilster, live from Cracker Barrel.
oh, nice.
If you're in the Missouri area, and you're at a Cracker Barrel,
For those
let's
of
see
you
if
tuning
Gilster's
in,
back.
welcome back. I just sent LAK a package from Amazon, and he's opening that right now.
Holy smokes!
Did you get it open?
You're a funny guy.
Did you?
You're a funny
Look at
guy.
it. Hold it up and look at it. Tell me that's
Hold on, I
not.
gotta get this paper out of the way here.
Come on.
Holy smokes!
Look at that.
Let me get the glare off of it.
Dude, it looks like you right now, almost. Look,
Holy smokes!
it's so close. And I said, look, even your current state of affairs. That's a match. I had to search for that thing, but isn't that funny? So as you playing the home game, that's the Big Boss Man from old WWE or WWF, and
The real shit.
that's
Look
all
at
I'm
that.
saying. Yeah,
You know, this is the first pop I've ever owned, Gary.
is it? Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it was some kind of exclusive. What's that label say? I don't even know.
GameStop exclusive. Look at that.
There you go. Yeah. It was $11,000. I don't mind. No, it wasn't much.
Well, put it on my tab.
Yeah, and you covered. I got
I don't
you.
even know. I don't think I've ever actually even seen a WW wrestling pop. I didn't even know they were.
They're out there. Yeah, but that one's an older one, I guess. I'm not sure when it came out. Anybody in the chat? But
I'm sure it says.
doesn't that look? You guys look. Yeah. See, there's Q. JT says definitely you, LAK. You're a pop.
It's definitely you, LAK. I'll be there. Hey, what's up, Ricardo? Left Coast. All the gang is here. Thanks, Gary. Yeah, I didn't realize that I had gotten a haircut and growing my. That's the first thing they told me at the interview. You know, I had my handlebar, and
I remember we were talking about it. You had more going on. You're like, I don't want to fucking shave, and that's bullshit.
Yeah, but you know, I'm not.
You got to do what you got to do. You know.
Well, you know, there's plenty of 16-year-old. I've already heard that there were people in the interviews who had like longer hair, and they said you'd have to cut your hair, and of course they.
Right. Hey, Rick.
And I was like that when I was 16, right? Like, fuck, not that they were 16, but that's what you feel like when I'm cutting my hair, you motherfuckers. And but it's so strange, you know, because like we used to. I'm sure when you were young, and even when I was young, you know, like people were really worried about tattoos. Like you would miss out on a job.
Yeah, I never had any, but my brother did. He ran into some trouble a couple times getting hired.
Yeah, well, that is not a thing anymore.
Can't be.
You know?
Yeah.
And like where I'm working now, for those of you who don't know, so my new job is prison guard, which I think is way cooler to say than you're supposed to say correctional officer. But
no, it's your prison guard.
I think that sounds soft.
You're in a hardcore prison, bro. That's a prison guard. That cuts it.
But so LAK is a prison guard we are the #1 most violent prison in Florida.
And number 8, what?
Number 8 in the United States.
There it is.
So it's you know, it looks good on a resume. You could probably go work anywhere after a few years at this place. Holy shit, that does look like me, Gary.
I'm telling you, bro. I was dying when I found it. I was like, oh, I got to get this for him.
Damn.
Yeah.
My buddy Dylan, he pulled one on me too. He sent me this.
And that's what started it. We were talking, and then I made a comment about the wrestling, and then he sent that too. And I'm in the comments when you're live with him, and I'm going, holy shit, we had the same idea. He just found the thing, the Big Boss Man. I mean, that's perfect. So then I went searching for that pop, and I don't know how much Big Boss Man stuff is out there, but we may have covered it.
There is a few newer, like whatever they're called, the Ultimates and stuff like that.
Is that Superstars? So they do one of him there, maybe?
Yeah, that's the
Yeah, they're kind of yoked
short,
up.
like
Yeah,
like He-Man ones. Yeah, I think
yeah.
they're like that.
All right.
Yeah,
Well,
number 8 overall in the United States. How you like that? Eighth most violent prison in the United States. How about that?
how
So
many other guys?
without saying it out loud, if y'all want
Yeah,
to.
yeah, yeah.
And there was that show Locked Up, which I never saw because
Was it on Bravo or something? Or one of those?
yeah, I don't know if it was FX or it's been on. It's been a long time since it's been on, I guess.
Yeah.
But there is the place I work is on that,
Okay. Okay.
which I didn't know.
I watched what the other prison show was it 60 Days In or something or 90 where they take
Oh, I don't
somebody
know.
who's not a criminal, they're like a cop undercover, and they put him
Oh,
in
really?
a so he can and the whole idea is for him to actually kind of spy on the operations themselves as much as
Oh, no shit.
yeah.
I know I seen a movie that was like that.
Well, Stallone did a
Oh,
couple
was
that
that
what
Stallone?
Escape Plan, where
Oh,
he was
yeah.
they put him in a prison or max prison undercover, under a pseudonym, whatever, and then he figures out how to get out basically, and that's his company hires him to go, hey, break out of
Oh,
our
to
prison.
Escape. I'll be damned. What's up,
And
Jumpy? I
Arnold's
see
in the first one, yeah, with him. Jumpy
Jumpy.
McClunky, hey buddy,
Jumpy, what's happening, brother?
saying hi everybody.
Saying hello. I hope I didn't miss anybody in the chat. Oh, Stinky. I don't know if we know you, Stinky, but welcome.
Yeah, welcome, bro, welcome.
We're just a couple of good-looking motherfuckers talking shit.
Well, yeah. Opinions
What
vary, but
what
say we're just
more?
shooting the shit. This is really so impromptu. Him and I talk on the phone all the time. I said, let's just do a live since I wasn't doing anything with Ed this week, Hot Toys. So here we are. We had to pick a time.
My new job has been keeping me super busy too, so I haven't been around as much as I
Yeah,
like
yeah.
to be, and it's just so early. I'm not used to my early morning schedule yet. So when I could be making videos during the week, I am like washing clothes and going to sleep.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. I get home about 3:30, and I'm in at 6 every day, and sometimes I'm trying not to take a nap in the afternoon so I can go to bed at 10:30 or 11 at the latest, and try to get my 6 hours in. So yeah, it is what it is. I got something in from NECA recently that I can hold up. I mean, just for shits and giggles, but I'm happy to show it. It's Iron Giant.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, Super 7 is a only problem. It's a great figure. I'm not going to open it. Detailing is great. My only complaint is there's no Hogarth. He should have a little Hogarth on his shoulder.
Oh, right on.
The kid. And he's not in there. I'm like, what the hell? I felt cheated, NECA. Or Super 7.
Is that's a 7-inch figure?
Yeah.
Okay.
So they did their little, I don't know, haul-a-thon thing online recently, and I just said, I know I don't have any representation, and I love the movie, so yeah. So there you go. But no Hogarth.
I've never seen that movie.
Oh, it's good. It's you'd like it. Yeah, it's good.
I'm out of the loop on. I'm out of the
robot.
Loop on a lot of stuff.
Robot thinks it's Superman, and it literally only does the poses and everything when it's flipping around. Yeah.
Was that a Target? Was that a Target pickup?
No, that was through NECA's website.
Oh, okay.
I went online. Yeah, I think Jennifer Aniston plays the voice of the mom, and I want to say Harry Connick is the guy, and he looks like him. Kind of got the goatee and he's kind of a hippie guy. Yeah. Anyway, Iron Giant. You guys know
Harry Connick, the jazz pianist.
Yeah. I think. Correct me. I'm pretty sure. I know Aniston for sure is in it. Yeah, she's the mom, and I don't know who voices the kid.
Harry Connick Jr.
Yeah.
I'll be damned. I didn't know he was still around.
He came into. I used to run the Universal Cineplex for Lowe's at Universal Studios in Orlando, and a lot of people came through and saw movies, and he was one of them that came when they're in town for a concert or whatnot. They might come in on Thursday night or Friday afternoon before a show, and he popped. I mean, you see him from, hey, how's it going? Kind of, sneak him in a side door and kind of shuttle him out. But yeah, I got to meet a lot of people, and he was one. He was one of them.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, he seems like a pretty hip guy.
Yeah. Probably the coolest for me was, and why is my mind just going blank? Oh my God, help me, Deer Hunter and oh my God, help me. Who's the coolest cat on the Pulp Fiction? He brought the watch. Oh my God, help me.
Oh, Bruce Willis.
No, not Willis. Jesus.
Oh, Christopher Walken.
Thank you.
You
Dude,
said Deer Hunter. Sorry, I thought
yeah, he was in.
that's
I went way
Walken.
back. He was in it, but he came in one night to see when Blair Witch, because Blair Witch was made in the Orlando area, on the Okeechobee area and stuff. So they filmed out there, and he came in to see it, and he came out, and he was all like, that was one of the first handheld camera movies, where they're walking and running, and he came out and said he was going to get see. He said, I almost threw up. It was too much movement with the camera, Gary. Too much. It was a bad impression, but yeah, it was funny. I'm like, well, you got in for free, dude. So thank you. Thanks for being cool.
Yeah, that guy's a strange duck, isn't he?
Yeah, he was. He had only like 2 assistants with him, which is funny for a big star. You'd think he'd have a little bigger entourage, but yeah.
Entourage. Huh.
Christopher Walken. Can't believe I couldn't think of his name. Thank you for that. That's
yeah. What I missed the first one, obviously. I don't know why. He brings the Bruce Willis as his kid. He brings his dad watch.
Yeah. He does that story about the watch up his ass for all those years. This inhuman piece of metal up his ass.
Oh man, you ever seen the channel Figure Fever?
Which one? What?
Figure Fever?
The channel?
Yeah. Yeah, he's a big Christopher Walken fan. He's always
Is he? That's cool. All right.
He's always got Christopher Walken on his intros and stuff.
Here's Q66. Diesel was the voice of the Iron Giant. That's right. Jennifer and Connick are the parents. Okay, I was right. See, it's not, the memory's not totally gone.
It's not, yeah.
Left Coast. Zed's dead, baby.
Zed's dead, baby. Yeah.
Here's your
the doctor said never worry about it, because just when you think you've lost it, it'll come back.
Yeah. Well, I can. It's weird, the shit I remember that I don't need to know, but something like that, when I going through my little mental Rolodex and you just blank out.
Well, that's one of my Ed, one of our best friends in the world, Ed. He's always on my case about doing more story times.
Right.
And I've gotten to that age where, like, I'll be like, I'll be sitting alone in the morning drinking coffee before work.
Mm-hmm.
Or I'll be talking to somebody at work, and only when something is said, all of a sudden I'll remember.
Then it'll click in, yeah.
I'll remember, and I'll be like, "Damn, I'm gonna forget. I'm gonna forget this before I get home." So I definitely need to start writing down. I need to definitely start writing shit down more, because I've already forgotten some of the cool shit.
Well, when you get to be my advanced age, let me tell you, you start losing a piece every day. It seems like.
Oh, that's awful. That's awful.
Crazy. It is awful. Actually, it is. Yeah.
How old are you, Gary? You're 60? You're at 60 yet?
Dude, I'll be 65 in December.
Son of a bitch.
65. So
wow.
Yeah, that's crazy. Who would have thunk it? So
yeah, I know, right? Nobody thinks they're gonna make it to 18.
No. I gotta register for friggin' Medicare in a few months.
Oh yeah. Hey, congratulations.
Thanks. I've already filed for Social Security, but I'm still working full time, but I only collect a little bit because of how much I make. But still, whatever. Enough about me.
Mr. B says more cowbell. Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely more
cowbell. I got a fever. The only prescription is more. That's a great skit. That's one of the most famous SNL skits, I think.
I had kind of quit watching it by then.
Did you?
Yeah. I was kind of out, like I think maybe like the Phil Hartman, Chris Farley era was the last time that I was really.
Did you ever watch? I don't know why. This is how my mind works. I can't forget this. When Steve Martin and Tom Hanks were on together on SNL, and the whole skit is them. They're like dads at the end of a driveway, and they're looking off to the side, and the kids are out. It's a cul-de-sac or something, and the kids are playing, and the whole thing is, hey, what's going on, Steve? What's going on, Bill? Hey, what is that thing? He goes, I don't know. What is it? He goes, oh, I know what it is. What the hell is that thing? And they go, and the other one goes, I don't know. And then they also hear kids like in the background. They go, hey, you kids, get off that thing. What? Get off that thing. Don't put your lips on it. What the hell is that thing? And they never, there's no payoff. It's just, that's the whole thing, is I'm just arguing in the driveway.
That sounds like a very, yeah.
Makes me laugh. I'm just thinking about it. So,
I don't, does anybody know Stinky Inn? I don't know you.
Yeah, I don't know who that is. He's very adamant, though. I don't know.
Very adamant. Yeah, this is generally a closed set.
Left
So
Coast says stop stinky. All right, yeah.
how about them apples?
It's nothing personal. Yeah, it's a closed set. Yeah,
It is a closed set.
that's too funny.
There should be some mod. I don't know. I think you can only make mods when you're on a computer. So, and
Oh,
it was
yeah. I don't know.
a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
I did that. So I
You
don't know.
got any? You got any more figure customs that you're working on right now, or I know you've been busy with work and everything.
Not really. I've been in a dry spell. Even just kind of like deciding, even just deciding what to do.
Yeah.
And I have a box of like half done ones that I haven't even touched. I was
Okay.
going through them the other day, and like there's like one or two where there's like it's just a body,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm sitting there thinking like, well, who was this gonna be?
Okay.
So
Have you seen that kid? And I say he's a kid. He may be older, but his show is Ken Ken. I Make It, and he does nothing but custom dioramas and stuff.
no,
And
I haven't seen that.
you should check it out. His latest one I just watched this morning was he redid the Marvel Legends Red Hulk and made it look just like Harrison Ford. I mean, the one I've got a copy of the original one here. But, I mean, and you look at the picture on the back. I don't know if you can see it. The artwork looks like him, right? But the figure itself, not so much. I mean, it looks just like a standard Hulk with red and black hair. But he put some extra modeling putty and did the whole thing. And yeah, I was really impressed at how much
Made
he
it
was
look
able to
right.
change it. Can I Make It? Yeah, check him out.
Yeah, cool. I will.
Yeah.
Palace is working on a Jawa Hell's Angel.
Wow. Okay. There's a nice mashup there.
Yeah, I like that. There's a short on that somewhere too. I was doing something, but I saw the in the MLA chat. I saw the thing that said, "Anybody want to see a Jawa riding a motorcycle?"
Right.
I was doing something, but I saw the notification and I thought, "Oh, I need to check that out later."
Oh, nice.
Because why not? I have a few Mongo Beefhead bodies that I made a while ago, but I'm still looking for squid heads.
Okay.
And I found that if you use the Power of the Force 2 prune face, body and legs, and then you just slap the hammerhead arms on that.
Okay.
Yeah,
Send me a list of guys that you're looking, because I'm going back to that Echo base probably next weekend, and they got a ton of loose figures that I showed in my video. And I can try to find those kind of oddball characters for you if I can find them. I just got to.
Every time I see a squid head, even if it's fairly affordable, it's always in super nice condition.
Yeah.
And I go, well, I'm not gonna buy that just to rip it apart. Like like the skirt is on it, and it's not missing.
Not missing any wet.
It's not missing anything, and I'm like, well, shit. I feel bad about doing that. If it's missing a bunch of stuff, hey, Dean is listening.
Dino the Machine. What's up, my friend?
Yeah, Dean needs to make sure to keep all his wits about him when he's driving, because sometimes people like to run into him.
Dude, have we told that story? So we're on Dean and LAK and I are on a 3-way call. Was it about a month ago?
You tell it. I'm going to fill up some job.
All right. We're on a 3-way phone call. I'm at home. LAK's at home. And Dean is driving home from work. He's got like an hour commute. Excuse me. And we're chatting. And then all of a sudden Dean's like, oh, shit. Real calm. I just got in an accident. I got to go. We're like, what? We're like, are you okay? He's like, yeah, I'm fine. So, yeah, somebody actually changed lanes funky and hit him. So we're all like, dude, don't call us, or hands-free driving. It wasn't his fault, obviously, but it was just, it's funny now. But he worked it out with I think it was a lady, a housewife or something that hit him, if I recall. So there was a little insurance negotiation, and it all worked out great. But
said it was an old Asian grandmother.
Yeah. And Dean, I I watched your first video of the End Saber. You guys check that out. Dean got a sample from this company, End Sabers, I think that's the name, and he's done one video, and this thing is badass, lag. I mean, it's legit. Like the sound and the motion and the whole, the 20 different light up features, and he's got a second video of all the features. I haven't watched it yet, but I will after this. So anyway, there's a free plug for our boy Geek Strong.
Yeah, he's doing good. What's going on, Boba Hicks? Welcome to the Talking Smack with LAK and Gary.
That's there's something that name could stick. Talking smack with LAK. I like it. I like coming up with catchphrases.
I know. Well, that's why we keep you around.
Maybe the only reason.
Yeah, good ideas. No, it's not the only reason. For those of you who are coming in late, Gary sent me this because he likes to make jokes.
And it looks just like him.
Holy smokes, it does.
It's so funny, dude. I can't believe it. Still,
it's. Again, I feel that job is funny in the aspect that they say there's only a few things you can't do, right? Like, you have to have obviously decent looking hair. They don't tell you what kind of haircut, but it has to be neat, and an inch off the collar or some shit. Fairly normal, for any job really. But there's no handlebar mustaches and no mirrored sunglasses. And I thought, well, that's just like that must be a rule held over from like the 1950s, right? Because that's like the stereotypical, whatever, like for cops or prison guards or any of the people that, the man, right? So that's. But I was reading that the other day and I was laughing, and like I work with all these kids who are like 20, and they have no idea the reference of that. And I said, yeah, man, like mirrored sunglasses and handlebar mustache. That's like the stereotype of whatever they're called. And but they didn't understand it, so I just had to have a private joke with myself.
My father was, after Vietnam, was a police officer and the chief of police, and one of his favorite actors was Jackie Gleason. And I remember going to the theater with him to see the first Smokey and the Bandit movie. Of course, when and Jackie Gleason, Sheriff Buford T. Justice.
Yeah.
And I can't tell you, like, we died laughing for that movie every time Jackie was on screen. And Daddy, the top came off, and the crazy son. But for years afterwards, when I was home with my parents and my mother was in the kitchen and my dad was in another room, and some bitch would come running in there and go, I need a Dr. Pepper and a Diablo sandwich and make it a goddamn hurry. I'm in a high-speed pursuit, Daddy. And I would just die laughing. And I still don't know what is a Diablo sandwich, but I want one.
Yeah.
Give me a
What's
Dr.
up, Blue
Pepper
Sasquatch?
Oh, wow. Haven't seen Blue Sasquatch?
Long time no see, my friend. Long time no see.
We're just telling tales here, just reminiscing and talking shit.
Yeah, we don't have any kind of plan.
There's no formal agenda here.
No. The plan is there is no plan. He did send me this though, Blue Sasquatch. I thought I'm putting a new engine. I got this Suburban.
You still working on it? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the engine, I bought a new engine to put it in, and it just showed up.
Clink. Sorry.
What's that?
I say hi to Clink.
Oh, Clink! What's going on? Good to see you. Anyway, yeah, the engine I bought the same engine, but it's rebuilt and whatever it is, right? It's like it's like 4 years and unlimited mileage warranty on it, which is cool.
Okay.
But I tell you what, this fucker might look cool super glued to the dashboard.
Dude, I was going to ask if you're going to open it, but yeah, you need to put it up somewhere.
Yeah, that might look cool on the dashboard. I don't know how many. That joke would probably be lost on a lot of coworkers too, because they're all. I'm not the oldest person there, but I'm like in my small group of people that started and
and
like we're in an academy, right? We as of right now, like we spend kind of a limited amount of time of our shift on the compound with the bad guys because we still have to pass this academy, right? So
there's got a lot of classroom training and stuff.
There's still it's about I don't know, I'd say it's maybe 64. I'd say maybe 50-50.
Yeah.
50.
You're over halfway through now, right? With the academy?
No, the
Close?
academy is just starting.
Oh,
Right. It's because they have to have a certain amount. I've been drawing a check from there for over a month, almost 2 months. And there was a part where like we went through the first orientation and we did, they gave us a bunch of paperwork and we did a few little tests, which
mhm.
of course, even if you didn't do well on those tests, like they were just like preliminary studying shit.
Yeah.
But we sat around for a couple weeks waiting for enough of other people to get hired so they
Oh,
could have a full academy. Yeah,
yeah.
there was a few days there where me and my immediate small group, like we sat outside where people smoke cigarettes, and like we did that for a full 8 hours one day because
Wow.
there was just nothing going on, and I thought, wow, here's our tax dollars hard at work here, you
Well,
know.
I mean, how much? I'm sure that entire training process costs a pretty penny. So they don't
Yeah,
want to. They can't just do classes of. And I'm just spitballing. 4 people. If you got a dozen, maybe how many are in your current class?
I think we're up to 15.
Okay, and then was it more? I mean, what's the washout
I think
rate? you know.
they want to hit 30.
Okay.
You
Okay.
know, and there is a class ahead of us who already started the academy, and they have a few people that failed. So, like, if you go to an academy and there's some parts that you fail, they'll recycle to the new academy.
So you get a do over. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you get like one do-over for certain classes. There's some like you do firearms training for a week, and you do PT for a couple weeks, and then you do defensive tactics for a couple weeks, and then there's a lot of book work. You got to know the statutes and
Mhm.
when you're allowed to use. What's reactionary force, when can you use deadly force, and then there's a big giant test at the end, which is the serious one. And I think it costs the state like $2,300 per person to do the
I'm
academy.
sure. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that's also why they send people, like they give people uniforms and they put them in the compound before they even send you to the academy, because there's plenty of people that get in there the first day
And they go, "This is not for
and they
me." Yeah.
go oh fuck, I
Yeah.
don't want nothing to do with this. And
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
we've seen there's a lot of there. You see a lot of people leave, but there was one guy I didn't know him personally because he was kind of behind me. They every Friday they have people's like brand new first day orientation,
Okay.
and sometimes there's only 3 people in there. Sometimes there might be 8. But they give you a good speech about they lay it on you pretty thick the first day, and they give you some
Hmm.
speeches and they show some videos. And there was one guy, he right in the middle of the first day, he was like, not for me, not for me. And
Thank
he
you,
fuck
but no thank you. Okay.
but that's what they want, before they take too much time and energy.
Yeah, they don't want to invest too much time and money into if you
Yeah,
let you know up front.
they throw you in there pretty fast just so you can not wait, because then they have a
They're-
thing where once you finish the academy, you're supposed to work there for like if you quit before 2 years after the academy, you're supposed to pay them back the
Right,
2,300.
you mentioned that to me. People
Yeah.
are asking that don't know. There's a guess of Police Academy, the Imperial Academy. Nope,
Yeah.
it's a real academy. He's really training for. It's a well, I guess.
Yeah.
Tell
Oh,
people.
yeah. For those, so straight from the Florida Department of Corrections, LAK Ziprac.
There
Yeah, that's my new. I'm just hoping. I'm just hoping that I get to see the Cubs more. That's really the only motivation. I
Yeah.
mean, it is a full-time job. The benefits for working for the state and the insurance and all that is obviously super fucking nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
And and of course the job is like being what it is, right? Like it is recession proof, it's pandemic proof.
Right.
There's a few perks that nobody's ever really thought of, and
Mhm.
until recent times, right? Nobody's going to tell you to go the fuck home because there's
Yeah.
the
We're,
koof going
hey,
around.
we're slow today. Yeah.
So, but I'm just hoping that that I'll be able to see the Cubs. I loved working on the slope in Alaska, but being away from the Cubs for whatever 16 to 32 weeks
I was
or
gonna
more.
say you were gone driving that, a rock truck in a fucking blizzard.
Yeah, and I loved it.
Yeah,
I would
dude,
do
how
that.
many lives did you do in the truck? I mean, that's when a lot of people met you. It's kind
Yeah.
of get to know you was during those.
Yeah, I didn't
those
have no pickups to talk about, so we just, you get a dose of LAK. But I love that job, and to be honest, the money there was much better. But my kids are so young that's just they're in that everything. I missed my daughter's first steps. I
Yeah.
missed her, like I missed her first words. I missed a lot of shit. And so hopefully this job, that's the only thing I'm excited about. And of course, you still only get like 2 days off a week, but my job is like 40 minutes from my house. Um, um, and you're guaranteed 2 days a week off. They also said that, like when you're on shift, you might get told that you have to stay,
Mm-hmm.
because somebody didn't come in. But they said that we will never call you on your day off. That's a guarantee.
Okay.
So there's that. And of course,
And
the new guys like me, you won't get the weekends off because so that's the
yeah.
only other issue. And like I was talking to my sergeant about that, and I wasn't asking for that, but I was thinking, I said, hey, if I put in a few years and everything's on the up and up, you think I would be able to ask for that? And like my sergeant, she said if you tell them that your bulk of your time that you get to see your kids is on the weekend because of things, she said, we're super family oriented. So
Well, maybe they'll give you like only 2 weekends a month that you have to
right,
work and
right. But yeah, that's how my
accommodate that.
schedule is
That'd be
with them
cool.
now. I only
Yeah.
really get to see them on weekends, which when you're in the academy, your schedule is Monday through Friday, so
Right.
all that's fine. But when you go full time over there, you're going to be wherever they tell you to be.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there might be a year's worth of having to just bear it, But I think it might be. I don't know. I think it might. It's definitely. I'm not going to say fun, but it's exciting,
Mm-hmm.
And
Okay, good.
I like exciting,
Keep your head on a swivel, and yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Oh man, yeah, you have to, because there's plenty of people that work there that don't, and they pay for it quickly.
Right. Right.
They
Tell
pay.
Blue Sasquatch is asking seriously, I guess, what academy? You tell them what you're doing real quick again.
Oh, so my
Just
Blue Sasquatch, my new career choice in life is
yeah.
I'm a prison guard at the #1 most violent prison in Florida, 8th most violent prison in the United States of America.
And that's why the Big Boss Man Funko Pop is the
Right.
perfect gift.
All right, and that's why Gary has sent me this Big Boss Man, and I don't know, like a couple weeks ago.
It was 2 weeks ago. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
2
what's
weeks ago, my buddy Dylan, who y'all have seen on the channel, I'm
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
He just texts me and he says, "Hey, there's a package coming for you. It'll be there in a little while." And he's always like doing little shit like that, And he sends me this vintage. There's a video of it, but it
Yeah.
totally
Yeah.
caught me off guard. And
No pun intended.
yeah. Oh, ha ha ha!
See what I did there?
I did see that. You funny man. You funny man. So yeah. So now I'm a big Boss Man collector. I was a big fan of him when you remember when he was Big Bubba Rogers.
No, I think for me, he was always been Big Boss Man.
Yeah, pre Big Boss Man, he was a character named Big Bubba Rogers, and he started
Okay.
off he was a bodyguard for Jim Cornette in the Midnight. You remember Jim Cornette in the Midnight Express?
That name is familiar. Yep.
And yeah, that's how. So Big Boss Man was first a bodyguard, and he had a figure recently as I seen him actually on a couple of your hunts.
Right.
But he had like whatever I don't know what line it's called, but it's the one that's like the black box with all the gold, and it's like one of the more expensive lines. and you were always looking for the Chase variant, right? Like Hogan or whoever had the red shorts. But he had a figure maybe, I don't know, 4 months ago that came out that was Big Bubba Rogers. And he's wearing like he was like in it's kind of like a Blues Brothers kind of suit, right? He's got his white shirt and black and a little hat. But yeah, he was pretty cool. It was Big Bubba Rogers, and he took the Midnight Express, who's my favorite tag team of all time. I thought they were the Dennis Condrey, Bobby Eaton version of the Midnight Express. But they were like one of the top, not only in kayfabe, right? They were like the big heel group, but they were some of the highest paid wrestlers at that time. They're the ones that started the scaffolding match, where back then the scaffolding was whatever, like 30 feet, and they were taking bumps all the way to the, like who was that? Mick Foley, when he went through the cage. Everybody remembers that, but like nobody remembers 1981 when the Midnight Express were on the scaffolding, and they would take those fucking bumps off the scaffolding, and they were hardcore. Yeah, you have to check that out. I see. I'll put this up right here. I did know this. Tim Hayes, his brother-in-law, retired as a prison guard. Pelican Bay in Crescent City, California. I've heard of Pelican Bay.
Yeah, that name rings a bell.
I feel like that's probably one that they say in the movies because it sounds cool.
Do you have a local? I don't know. You read some comics. Are you going to participate in Free Comic Book Day? Because that's next Saturday. Is all the stores will celebrate Free Comic Book Day, and Georgie.
Hello, Georgie. Nice to see you.
How are you?
I hope you and your husband are doing swimmingly.
Yes.
Hope you all are doing good. Free Comic Book Day. Now that you explained to me when it is, I will try to.
Next Saturday, and it's like my comic shop here in Northern Virginia. It's called Comic Logic. It also ties in. It's their 10th year anniversary, and they're having. I think you and I spoke about this. They're going to have Diana Lee Innocento in there. Morgan, I forgot her last name, from Mandalorian and Ahsoka. She's going to be there next Saturday from 11 to 4. That's where I got the Brandon Wayne. Remember last year?
Yeah.
Autograph. So I'm going to go back and see my boys. My friends of mine own the shop, and get in line and get an autograph from her, and then see what free comics I can go with next week. So it could be a busy week with all the new hot toys coming in, and it's a beautiful time to be a collector.
Yeah, I was reading there's a new Dick Tracy comic, and I've read the first like 3 issues.
Okay.
And then I haven't been able to really find. Well, I think I read like 1, 3, and 5 actually. So I'm missing some even in between there. And but that's like the first comic I've cracked in a long time, and it was all right. I mean, it was good. I guess it's been a long time since I read a comic, right? And so you know how it is. You're just getting into it, and and each little comic is its own. It kind of stops, but in that one, there is a lot of like side stories that you're not. So the other episode or whatever.
I still collect like the staple books. Your Batman, your Superman, your Spider-Man, your Fantastic Four, X-Men. I just do that. Like about maybe 9 or 10 titles. Hey, Gap. Hello.
Hey, Gap. Good to see you, my friend.
Man, people jumping in here. Look at us becoming more.
What's that?
Look at us becoming more popular by the minute. I don't know how many people are in there, like 12, 14? I don't know. Let's see.
In here right now, I got 14.
14. All right. There go us.
Yeah. I didn't realize that we were possibly going over Stu's trivia.
I thought it ended. Maybe it just did. But I mean, he was on for an hour at 4 o'clock our time.
Of course, I'm sure we're not. I mean, I don't think we're big enough to rival Stu, right?
No.
But yeah, I will definitely catch the Georgia. If you're still here, I will definitely catch the rewatch on that. That's all. It's always a fun it's always a fun, and I used to get a lot of the answers right, but he's been doubling down on some hard shit lately.
Dude, some of that stuff's deep diving. I have no clue,
Yeah, and then he gives like equal questions to like the new stuff and stuff that I mean, we've all seen the original trilogy 100,000 times plus. So but yeah, I missed quite a few of the other series questions, where he's on different I'm blanking on what the word would be, but
see, we have our little mental foibles.
Oh man,
Jordy says it finished an hour ago. Okay, good. That's good.
Oh, right on. All right. Well, we must have
yeah.
started right when. Let's see. Blue Sasquatch says he has a hard time understanding Stu's language. Well, it is English. I don't know what they speak in your part of Canada, but
yeah. Well, there you go.
I thought it was English. I know. Blue Sasquatch isn't French.
Hold on. What am I doing down there?
Let's see. Georgie says, I have no idea on the answers and I have them written in front of me. Yeah, well, you don't have, as long as you know the answer, you don't have to really know that, right?
Right. That's it.
Yeah, that's fine.
I thought Georgie assembled a lot of the questions.
I think she just, I don't know if she helps assemble the questions, but I think she just has the answers so she can come. She is definitely on it though, right? Because the other day it was a time question, and Stu said, "I'll give you 5 seconds either way."
There he is. Speak of the devil, Stu. Hey, right there.
Speak of the devil.
We're talking about
5 seconds either way, which of course, and I heard him say 5 seconds, but I knew he meant 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Georgie was there. She was like, no, you said 5 seconds, and that is what we are adhering to.
Yeah, I've been on that thing once. It was a while ago. I think I only scored like 5 or 6 points or something like that in a few rounds. So it's tough.
You were on? What was I doing? I must have missed that one.
That was a while back. Yeah.
Stu has
because of my great performance, I have not been invited back.
You have not been invited back. Well,
I made such a mark. No, it's cool. I get it.
You made a.
I didn't win. You win to advance, kind of thing. That's
that kind of thing. Yeah.
It was elimination tournament.
Well, I haven't been asked, which is fine. Because I think, I would totally embarrass myself, and I feel like I thought I knew a lot of shit about it, but
it's harder than people think when you get on and again, we're in our homes, but it's not like being in a studio under the hot lights. But when the pressure's on and the clock's ticking, it's amazing what you can and can't remember sometimes, It really is.
And Stu decides whether spelling is correct spelling is needed or not needed on a every show. So that would, did you see the one where Admiral Akbar was there?
No.
Oh my gosh, it must have been a couple weeks by now, and I still don't know who it was in the Akbar costume, but it was awesome.
That's funny. Someone taking a page from Rum's playbook.
If I'd have paid closer attention or maybe read the description, I would have known who it was. But
right.
But and the voice was on par. I thought it was great. I thought I was looking at Admiral Akbar.
They played the whole game as Akbar.
The whole thing.
I gotta watch that. All right, that's funny. All right.
It was a little muffled through the mask.
Sure.
But it was fine. I thought it was quite humorous. Yeah. Oh yeah, taking a page out of Rum's book, I guess. Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Yeah, I always enjoy that. Always enjoy your videos, Stu. I got to rewatch the game show that you just did, and then I saw the other day, like I think I was driving home from work. Maybe it was Friday or whenever, but there was another stream that he had unpacking boxes, and I haven't had a chance to.
Mm-hmm.
I have to be honest. I had the Cubs soccer game yesterday, Saturday early.
Yeah.
And then me and the wife went and just we just did some young and in love things, right? Like walked around the mall and got an ice cream cone and whatever.
Julius.
And then she had to go to work yesterday about 4, and I had all these plans. I was going to do this and I was going to do that, and fuck, I fell right asleep.
Nice. Hey,
I
you
fell
see,
right.
Stu said another quiz starting in a couple of weeks. You are both invited to take part. Well, we'll see. We'll
Oh
see.
man, I
I'm
don't
looking
know.
forward to Jaws is my favorite movie, and I will go to bat and challenge anybody in Jaws trivia. But a buddy of mine who owns a couple of pubs here in town is hosting a Jaws Day. He does these pop-up theme parties a couple times a year. There's been a Star Wars one, there was '80s one. Anyway, there's a Jaws one on June, whatever the first Saturday of June, and I'm going out there to host the trivia, Jaws trivia, dressed as Quint. I'm the local Quint guy. I've got the whole get up with the chops and the hat's right behind me there. I don't know if you can see it. The coat, the whole thing. So I'm looking forward to that. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a pretty good turnout. And
yeah, awesome. What's going on, Roughshod?
Hey, Roughshod.
So I just realized a second ago that the chat, I was up on the. I had to physically scroll down. I realized I was missing stuff. So my mistake. If I miss anybody in the chat, I'm doing this on the phone, so it's not.
JT, I agree. Jaws is the best movie ever.
Best movie ever.
Yeah, it's gonna be. It's not awesome, Georgie. It's jawsome.
It's jawsome, baby.
I can't wait.
I would have a hard time deciding what the best. I would have a hard time deciding what's the best movie ever. I really would.
When I lived in, I lived in Seabrook, New Hampshire, a little coastal town right by the Hamptons, which is not far from Martha's Vineyard, which is where they filmed Jaws. And I've told you before, my father was after Vietnam, was a police officer and then chief of police in our little town. So I got to go out there with him one day to the set. Now it was from a mile away, but I got to see the shark, one of them, under a tarp, so you could just see the head and the tail sticking out, and all these little flotillas of machinery and when I didn't see any of the actors or anything, but I couldn't get any closer. But yeah, that summer of '75 when that movie came out, the Hampton Beach, if you had a camera, there's nobody in the friggin' water. Nobody. Everyone was just scared shitless. So
Oh, I can believe it.
It was amazing. Yeah, and so I've probably seen the movie 1,000 times easily. I mean, I've got the first Quint speech down when he does it. You all know me. I earn a living. I've almost got the Indianapolis speech memorized. I still got it because I'm sure they're going to ask me to do that at the thing next month. Yeah. So anyway,
I've seen a photo of you in the Quint outfit. It's very convincing.
Yeah. So now I have glasses on. I didn't have glasses 5 years ago. But yeah.
What's going on, Echo? Good to see you.
Oh wow, more people coming. And look, we're past the hour mark already. Look at us.
Oh yeah, time flies when you're having fun.
Yes, JT. I got to see Bruce. I don't know which version of it was. Like I said, had a tarp over most of it, but yeah, that was something else. Gap's
got a question for you right there.
Are you in a new place because the window is on screen? Yeah, I am. Actually, yeah. We bought a new condo a couple months ago, so I'm still by a window, but yeah, it's on the other side. So
yeah, it looks good. I like that shelf.
Yeah, I'm trying to keep the Hot Toys display simplified. I've got like I said, a lot of stuff coming in to this week, so I got to rearrange and things. But thanks, man. I like to keep it simple.
Well, how many you have? You said you had 2 that has arrived.
I've got the Symbiote Spider-Man Tuesday, the Grail, Real Grail. I know it's my name in the channel, but the '78 Superman, Christopher Reeve Superman, I found new for a really decent price, so I jumped on it on eBay, and that should be here on Wednesday. And then there's a third-party company called Lim Toys that did a Nathan Drake, the character from Uncharted. And that's getting like rave reviews, like figure of the year from a lot of people. And that's coming from Hong Kong, so it's a little bit slower. And I purchased a unmasked Ryan Reynolds Deadpool head for my Deadpool figure from a third party. So it's they came out with that figure, and then 3 months later they did a second version of it with the unmasked portrait and like the Wolverine bone claws, and they want to charge you $380 to try to lure you in with that masked head. And I'm like, no, I'll buy a cool third party one for $35 and plug that in. So anyway,
Well,
yeah. So that's what's coming out. Yeah.
it sounds like you're gonna need a bigger shelf.
Gonna need a bigger shelf. Yeah, and then of course, yeah, the Jaws shrine is right behind me, and that's packed. There's more stuff I can't fit on there, so I'll rotate stuff out every now and then. So yeah, Jaws will always have a spot on my shelf no matter where I am. Yep.
I'm trying not to get involved with the sideshow, but I did pre-order the new Hondo John Wayne.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think I did I can't remember now if I did the deluxe or the regular, which the only difference is the dog, which is
right.
not necessarily. I don't remember which one I did, which I'm happy with whichever one. The dog is not necessary, but and when they I can't remember who is making that, right? But the first time they revealed it, Rick, Left Coast Rick, is the one who sent me the link or whatever to it. But the very first deluxe edition had quite a bit more stuff. Like he had
it's not through Sideshow?
It's through Sideshow, but
okay.
I'm not sure if they're, I don't know if it's a Sideshow product, and it's definitely not a Hot Toys product. Like John's way too cool for Sideshow to do. They're busy.
He's not. Yeah.
They're busy making, new age stuff. But the first deluxe edition I looked at, it had a lot more stuff. And then at some point, I think, somebody said, "Oh, we better scale back on this." I think it had maybe like saddlebags, and it had his real elaborate base, that had red dirt on it and stuff.
Okay.
And then by the time it actually got to where you could pre-order it, it had that version was not available. So I don't know. Somebody somewhere said, "We're not going to do all this." So they have the standard, which has like his rifle and his handgun, and then the rifle scabbard.
Okay.
And then the deluxe has just the dog, and I don't think there's any saddlebags.
And it's him from what movie is it based on?
Hondo.
It's Hondo. Okay.
Yeah.
Dude, I like to see that. Yeah.
Oh man, it's definitely it's a great film too. It's a great film. Definitely one of the sad. They killed the dog, which is.
Well, that's what pissed off John Wick, if we all remember. So. Yeah.
Oh man, well when I was a kid, that was like That'll do it right there. And John Wayne too. There's Hondo. They kill his dog, and then shit gets real. And what was the other one? Big Jake. You remember that one?
That name's familiar, but I don't recall the movie.
And the guy kills his dog, and then the guy also kills his best friend, and like he hacks him up brutally with a machete, and but then that guy kills the dog, and like not cool.
Okay, now you got to pay.
Yeah, now he's got to pay. So John Wayne runs him through with a pitchfork.
JT is asking me, yeah, it is the 78 Superman. That was the one that came out in 2011. Amazing Christopher Reeve head sculpt. I'm curious, does yours have any problems? Some people have complained about the S shield on his front and then the transfer on the back on the cape cracking or flaking. Has that been an issue for you? Or let me know in the comments. I'm just curious. I made the guy send me a bunch of pictures of the one just so I was confident, of the condition before I shelled out some do-re-mi for it. But
yeah, how old is that? How long ago did they release that one?
14 years ago. It came out in 2011.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. I've got pictures of it. I don't know if you want to. That's not the show here, but I do have some photos of it. It's great. I'll show it. If tune in next week to Hot Toys, Hot Coffee.
Don't miss the Hot Toys and Hot Coffee. I try to never miss it, but I like I said, this weekend I do not have my Cubs. That's why you don't see me like.
That's why we're here. Yeah.
And say what? What do you need? Yeah.
I know it seems like
cool. I just tell them like.
Good.
No. I was just gonna say, I just tell them. I say, hey, Dad's got to do this, and they go, okay, and then they always hit me up and they say, hey, can we watch the Pink Panther or whatever? And I go, yeah. And then they're pretty. I just got them into the original Pink Panther.
Oh,
and
wow.
fuck, they love it, man. They love it.
Yeah.
And my daughter walks around going, but
Yeah.
she's singing the song. And then one day, because in the original, whatever that is, 60 something, there's no talking,
No.
right? And then so my son came to me one day, and he's like pointing at stuff and he's doing stuff, and I'm going, what do you want? Tell me. And he goes, I'm the Pink Panther. And I go, oh, okay, I get it. So
That's
yeah, like
awesome.
so the whole rest of the day he didn't talk. He was just like,
Right.
he'd like bring me his cup and be like, put some water in my cup,
That's
or
cool.
he's
And the
like, oh,
Oscar
can I
goes
have
to.
a muffin? And I was like, wow, this is cool.
That's
But
awesome.
they're always opposed to watching new stuff, right? Which is crazy. What's up, Rolando?
Yeah, that's up, buddy.
And but so the last time, I was like, hey, you want to watch the Pink Panther? And they're like, no. And
Yeah.
I said, have you watched anything that I've showed you that you didn't like? And they were like,
Right.
oh, no, I guess not. And I said, all right, then.
Trust.
Well, stop, telling me. Because they just watch like new age stuff. It's all about like Bluey or whatever. And like,
Is that Blue's
yeah.
Clues? Is that still a thing? Or is that?
Oh, I don't know. I don't think so. My kids
Yeah.
haven't asked me to watch it. So I guess it's not.
I don't know.
But they do love that Bluey, which is
Not familiar.
oh well, you're not missing anything. You're not missing anything.
Good.
There's some bad ones out there, man. There's one called Peppa Pig.
I've heard of that one. Yeah.
All right. Well, like if you watch it, right, like the main character is like super rude to their parents and always arguing and this and that.
Well, so it's like real life. Yeah.
Oh, but I'm like, I'm not showing my kids that.
No, give me any ideas. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. When you show them the Pink Panther, they won't talk the rest of the day.
Perfect.
They just come to you and they go, like, oh, okay, that's cool.
Speaking of which, my cup's getting empty.
Oh man, well you better fill it back up as long as you don't have to. Well, what else is going on? We're just lacking around, basically.
We are literally just shooting the, just I don't know. We can wrap it up whenever. It doesn't matter.
Well, don't let me keep. You know me.
You'll go. You'll keep going. I know.
I will keep going until my old lady comes in and gives me a look.
I'll tune back in after like Last of Us, and you'll be going, all right, hour 7, here we are.
Yeah. Well, I got to go to work in the morning, so it probably will not be 7 hours.
Right.
But
No.
But yeah.
Well,
I don't know. I got nothing. I think as long we might as well try it now, right? So as long as we don't flash the muzzles.
Oh yeah.
At the camera, we're gonna test this, you guys, because of course,
right.
Dean.
This could be the end of the stream.
Yeah, it could be the end of the stream because Dean got in trouble for this. But I have had people tell me that as long as it's
this way,
you can't flash the muzzle toward the screen. So
gotcha.
Gary has some super cool DL40 customized DL40.
Well, yeah, I have 3 of them. One's super old, like the original release, and I think it was blue and orange, if I recall. And I took I'm just spinning it right now. I took again, this is so basic of a paint job. It's matte black and as I call it, a shit brown handle. But this is the original. It still works, which is cool. And I just tried my hand at, making it not quite look like a toy. And then flash forward to after I think Force Awakens came out, they did another version of it. And I took a few more chances with this one as far as the customization and put some gold, got a little bit better shade of brown for the handle and the gold on the handle there. And then the gunmetal on the end. And this one also, I can do this, right? It's obviously a toy. It's a toy.
Yeah. Good sound effect, though.
It sounds cool. Yeah, the sound effect's awesome.
Yeah.
And just recently, within like, I don't know, a month ago, I saw something on eBay, and I thought it would make a nice little prop for cosplay. And it's another one, but this is made out of solid, like foam. It's all foam, and this came pre-weathered. I haven't touched this one yet, so I'm going to try to repaint it. It does have the little red cap to show that it's a toy. So for a lot of conventions, when you go in there with blasters and stuff, they make you check in, and they want to see that, or it has to have a cap in it, or they won't let you in. I've seen that. I've seen people get turned away with some really cool, blasters and whatnot. I'm not sure why swords get allowed, but yeah. So there's my 3 DL44s. I've got the leather jacket from Force Awakens, the shirt, some brown jeans, and then the boots. And so I do have a whole Force Awakens Han Solo thing going. I think I've sent you pictures of that. I think.
Yeah, I've seen you in that one. That's definitely a good.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So need to lose a few more pounds to get back in that outfit, but we're getting there.
Yeah, we're getting there. The only DL44.
Pew pew pew. Yeah, that's right, Tim.
The only DL44 I have is this one.
Look at that. Look at that. And that's the real deal. Well, it looks real. Look at it. I'm still amazed at the length of that barrel, and that finish on that thing is just so cool.
Yeah, this is, let's see if I can get I don't know if it'll focus right there, but so this is.
Yeah, you can see it.
Yeah, so this is an actual C96 Mauser. And I think this one was manufactured in, I think, about 1918.
Yeah.
And I was very lucky. Go ahead.
No, I'm saying if you look at that and then look at, what they did, they just added, I'm going to spin it the same way. They just added the scope and the little side bracket and, obviously changed the barrel. But it's not too much different.
Out there.
Yeah. I should go that way. So we're.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now there are some companies that will make there are a few companies that make machined aluminum parts that you can add to an actual firearm, right? Which I would never do to that one. But
right.
if you do quite a bit of searching, you can usually find one of those. And of course, maybe the price is going up now. I used to look at the market of those C96s almost daily, and some really nice examples are up in like the 5,000 range.
Oh wow, wow!
But you can find one every once in a while in like the 750 to 900. But of course, you're going to deal with pitting. And you're probably going to deal with mismatched numbers, which, of course, anybody who wants to make a DL44 that actually shoots and go to the range, like that's not a big deal,
Right.
And I lucked out on this one, right? Because so I've always this is one of my favorite handguns of all time. Like, not just because of Han Solo, but just like,
it's cool.
One of the coolest guns ever, right? And I watched this auction for this one for quite a while now. It is all matching numbers, which is like super awesome. So it's all matching serial numbers. There's probably 8 different parts of that gun that's serialized.
Okay.
And so they all match. And then the next thing that you come up with is like the rifling in the barrel is most of it will be shot out or corroded, right? Because at least in the late 1890s, 96 to probably 1912, the type of powder that was used was extremely corrosive. Okay. So even if you just shot a few rounds, if you didn't clean it and put it away,
eat it up in there. Yeah.
It would eat it up. So that's always the next issue. Well, so this one, I paid about $900 for this one, and the rifling is crisp, and all the numbers match. But it's not valuable to any of these hardcore collectors because at some point in the 60s, the guy who owned this nickel plated it and put on ivory grip, which of course killed any value as a collectible,
Yeah, he wanted to customize it. Rolando, thanks for putting all the links to everybody's channel. Thank you, brother. Yep.
But so and my thing was always, this is the second one I've ever owned. First one I ended up selling, but I want, I take it out every once in a while and shoot it. And so finding that one that's in pristine condition, and of course the whatever, if a person ever wanted to strip the nickel off of it and get an original grip to replace the one that's on it, you could probably resell it for up in the $4,000 range.
Scraping
And
that off wouldn't damage it.
no, you can strip the nickel off pretty easily.
Yeah.
You would have to refinish it, but you could put it back in like an original looking finish.
Right.
But the nickel is, especially back up until, probably up until the 1920s, nickel was one of the best finishes to protect the firearm, and that's why you saw so many, a lot of cowboy guns and different stuff like that. That's why they're all nickel. It really is
all nickel. Yeah. Yeah, you always have nickel-plated Colts and whatnot. Yeah,
yeah, exactly. Yep. But yeah, that's one of my favorite. I would like to shoot a deer with it. That's one of my big things. I want to shoot a deer with it. I've been looking for. It has a. This is one of the. Well, back up. You see this slot right here.
Let me magnify it. Let me make it. Oh yeah. Okay.
So this slot is made to receive a stock. And I think you probably saw in. What was that? Joe Kidd? You remember Joe Kidd? He had one of those and they had the stock on it.
That's right. Yeah.
And because it's an antique, it falls underneath. Like there's a lot of laws about, something could be considered a short barrel rifle, which you have to have a certain license for, and all this kind of stuff. But once it's so old, that kind of stuff doesn't apply to it.
Rick's asking Left Coast, do you have the stock? I don't think you do, right? But you don't have the stock for it though.
Oh yeah. I have a remake of a stock. It's like a Chinese stock, and the attachment that goes into there, it's a little loose, so I don't particularly like it. But I have it, and I have the part, right? So I can maybe replace just that part with an original one, or if I ever get any time, I could take that part to a couple friends of mine who still have machine shops, and then get them to just duplicate it, but maybe like 10 thousandths larger.
Okay.
And then I could just fit it by hand or something, But that's always been I would like to shoot a deer with a C96. And it would be beneficial to have the stock, but I don't think it's necessary. That thing shoots like a laser beam.
I bet it does.
And the cartridge that was originally, we call it in America we call it a 30 Mauser, and most ammunition that you buy here will say 30 Mauser, but it's really like a 7.62 by 28. But at one time it was the fastest. Had the highest velocity of any firearm.
Oh wow!
And was considered the most powerful firearm up until they invented the 357 Magnum in like 1927 or whatever it was. But
amazing that the technology hasn't really changed that much for those kind of weapons. And all this time.
What's that?
So the technology for those kind of weapons really hasn't changed all that much.
Yeah, exactly. And the European and American concept of power has always come from bullet diameter and weight.
Yeah.
So that's why, like, you always see, the 45 Colt, the 44 Magnum. But the Germans, since the beginning of conception, their idea was always velocity.
Right.
And of course, after World War II, that has kind of become, even in today's modern, even in sporting rifles and stuff, now everybody's kind of going back to the idea of velocity, equaling kinetic energy, which you can achieve the same numbers, right? If you have a very large diameter, heavy bullet going super slow on paper, it can produce the same kinetic energy as a lightweight, small diameter, super fast.
Just about the penetration. How is the difference? Yeah.
Yeah, and the big thing with velocity too is bullet construction, right? Because when you start pushing something 2,100 feet per second, it can be extremely devastating, or it can just fragment and not penetrate that much, and really not do a lot of lethal damage. But that's the reason why everybody has a 9mm now. That is a German invention, and of course that's like the standard for every military now, and NATO, and the days of like the 45 automatic has gone by the wayside, and there's
Right.
only like a few, there's a few like hardcore special forces Delta guys, who will tell you like, well, we decided to carry a 45, for whatever reason, but it's definitely gone out of vogue for mass production. And if you have a bunch of people out there who you don't have a lot of time to teach them this and that, like high is the way to go. But
Nice.
yeah, DL-44 is, C-96 Mauser is to me just the pinnacle of it's one
my
of the
favorite weapon in Star Wars for sure.
Oh, definitely.
Bar
And
none.
I remember, and I'm sure it's not canon now, right? But the DL-44 was supposed to be one of those kind of like illegal guns in the Star Wars universe because of its power.
Right.
And like Han Solo was one of the few people that carried it.
Remember in Solo, A Star Wars Story, when and I forgot his character's, Woody Harrelson's character's name. It was a rifle. Remember, they're sitting around the campfire and he's taking stock and stuff, and then he tossed Han what we know as the blaster. But it was part of a bigger assembly, like what you're talking about, at one point. So I thought that was.
I do remember that. Yeah, and I guess he failed to give Han the rest of it. I guess I don't know.
No, he literally just took everything else off and tossed him the pistol part of it, and that was it.
Yeah,
and that's what he rocked with. Yeah.
But like I noticed in Andor, like the one scene with Bix when that guy was messing with her, and then she kills the guy with the hammer or whatever, and then the guy who's driving the transport vehicle, the gun he pulls is very much a DL-44.
I don't remember seeing. Okay, I remember his sidearm. Okay, I'll have to go back.
I don't think it has a scope on it like Han's, but it has like a coil wire in that same. But and there's a few other. I don't know if it was animated or whatever, but there's you start to see a DL-44 quite a bit, I remembered it as. It's supposed to be one of these things that no one kind of has, and it's illegal, and the Empire would really get onto you for having it and all this kind of stuff. But I guess that's been all gone by the wayside.
I'd like to know the science behind it, and actually what powers it. You know what I mean? And how they never really showed him reloading a power source for the I assume where it goes in there, and I think he wears that little pouch on his gun belt that houses another power supply for it, but you never saw him like reaching back and changing it,
Yeah, exactly.
I'm curious.
I thought that was what was always cool about the Mando's rifle, that he single loaded it, that big rifle. I thought that was really neat. And
there's Palpatine saying, he noticed it definitely looked like a DL-44 to him as well.
So, okay, yeah, I thought it did. It didn't have the scope, and I can't remember if it had the little flash hider, which I think the original prop probably had like an MG-32 flash hider. It might not have been, but
see what Gap puts. I like the one Heckler and Koch USP compact pistol Kiefer Sutherland used in 24 at the TV show. I don't remember what gun he had. The one thing that stands out for me on the show 24 was the excellent cell phone coverage that Kiefer Sutherland had, because that guy could be anywhere and some bitch under 6,000 feet in a dam underground, and I'll whip that phone out and talk to the home office. It was amazing.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, who's your provider, Jack Bauer?
Yeah, JT is correct. Yeah, the original trilogy firearms were definitely made from a lot of German and British surplus,
Yeah,
but
silly
they were done
sci-fi
really
cuckoo.
well. Whoever was making those props, like they had whatever their vision was, it came off definitely sci-fi. Whereas like I know in the first season of Andor when they're robbing the the payroll from that place,
Hmm.
and everybody's standing around with AK-47s,
Yeah,
and there's like almost nothing done to it. Like I
right,
can't
right.
think of. I mean, it had, and they had like banana magazines and stuff. Like it's just like the most ridiculous, awful Star Wars prop. And the what was it? The like the Hoth Rebel soldiers. I think those were all ARs. Or
They were the modified AR. Yeah,
yeah. And I guess at that time they were probably military surplus, so they were probably actually M16s. I don't think there was much of a AR market at that time. There might have been, but that you have to look really hard at those. Um, and there's just like the grip and the very like the magazine well in the front. You go, oh, I pretty sure that was an AR or
yeah,
M16.
yeah.
You know, but
Someone
yeah, they
else
just
has joined. Blacked Out Ewoks. Hello, just came in
hey
and said hi.
Boe,
Yeah, yeah.
the goat
Everyone agrees that Jack Bauer had the best cell phone coverage.
had great cell phone
He
coverage.
sure did.
Absolutely. Yeah, those pretty much everything HK makes is top of the line, and the price reflects that, of course.
Right, right.
The price reflects that. Yeah, there's
Well, I'm getting text messages from the son. There was groceries in the buggies for the troops, but the troops want to go out and grab some early dinner, and
oh good. Well, that's
yeah, I'm going to go do that. So that's something. I'm not sure where we're going, but he's like, Dad, you want to go grab some? I'm like, yeah, I do.
yeah. Well, have an extra shot for me.
Right.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
I think my work here is done, bro. Thanks so much for doing this with me. I
Hey,
mean,
yeah. No, it's good to have you. We'll probably stay on just a little bit longer.
yeah, we easily did what we did an hour and a half without even
Yeah.
trying. So that was
Yeah, it's pretty easy
with
to
no
do.
material. That's how we roll.
That's
So
how we roll. Hey,
guys, everybody in the
Gary,
chat, thank you so much. Oh, you're welcome, brother.
I really appreciate that.
I love you, man, and that's
That is some. That is some.
it's just too funny not to get it to you. It hit so close to home.
I
So
know. I know. Yeah. Well, I really appreciate it, man. I'll see you on down the trail
yeah,
whenever.
I'll give you a call later on in the week. And for those of you guys in the chat, remember, it's Gary's Grails reminding you once again, your grails are out there. Go find them. I'll see you
Yeah.
guys next time.
Take it easy, Gary. Yeah, man. Good times. Good times hanging out with Gary always. And for those of you, BOE and some of you others, so Gary sent me this Big Boss Man Funko Pop. And of course, if you watch the channel, my buddy Dylan a couple weeks ago sent over this Big Boss Man carded. What year is this? 1990 vintage carded Big Boss Man. This one has a really nice card. It does have a little UV. You can see that his shirt has turned green, which was a real problem for this. I know specifically this figure. So this one has seen some daylight in its life, but the card is still immaculate. It's got a little wave in it, but it's really good. And for those of you who let's see the Hard Time Slam. But yeah, for those of you just joining who aren't aware, my new job is prison guard of all things. So that's why my buddies are sending me all Big Boss Man stuff. So, and of course, Big Boss Man hails from the Georgia Department of Corrections. But yeah, so thank you to Gary. It's super comical that you would send that over. And this is also LAK's first Funko Pop. It's the first Funko Pop I've ever owned. There is an original Nick Fury Funko Pop out there somewhere, and I think he's in it's like straight up original Agent of Shield, and I would not mind picking that one up. I think it's pretty old by now, so I don't know where you'd find it except maybe eBay, but I have seen it somewhere. Somebody sent me a picture of it or something. But yeah, thanks to Gary. So yeah, that is LAK is the fucking big boss man at the #1 most violent prison in Florida, #8 most violent prison in the United States. So there's something to brag about. It's all just another chapter in the book. That's what that's what let me see here. I'm trying to see. Yeah, blacked out. What's blacked out? I see Gap says something, but we're not. I saw a couple episodes of Oz, and it's I think that show is like a bit that's definitely a bit overboard, right? Because we try not to let shit get that out of fucking hand, Gap. That shit is way too far. You too, Adam Clayton, a couple weeks ago. £3. Wow. Hey, anything you can get for £3 is fucking awesome in this day and age. Yeah, I barely remember. Where's the handcuffs? Yeah, you know what? On the pop, I don't know what the pop looks like, but I imagine if he has handcuffs, they're probably on his belt, maybe on the back of his belt. I'm not sure, but in this one he does have the nightstick. You can kind of see right there, and he's got his glasses on his shirt, and then on this one he also comes with the nightstick. So there are some, I think they're like, what is it called? Like the Ultimate line or whatever. There's a couple, there might be even like 3 different versions of the Big Boss Man. Because as soon as Dylan sent me that a couple weeks ago, I immediately was like, you know, I think a Big Boss Man should be super glued to the dashboard of my truck. At least while I'm at work. So what the hell? Let's see what Jumpy says here. They've changed the way you do the comments on here, so it's not as fluid as it used to be. Jumpy says he has the German STG MP44 full metal airsoft rifle. Is that the rifle converted to make the 280 295 Rebel rifle? And it's largely influenced by the protection of the AK-47. Really? Now, see, that I didn't know that was the 280. I always thought. Now, is the 280 295? Is that the? Because I know there was some discrepancy on this on Stu's channel, right? That's the one we see in Hoth. I'll have to go back and look at that because, and now that I visualize it, the grip and the front are very AR looking, so that must be why I identified that. What did they use for the Stormtrooper blasters? That was the, as far as I know, that was the Stein, the Sterling. Those are 2 different guns, but they both have I think it's the Steen. I think that the Stormtrooper, the regular E11, not the big ones that you see, but the regular E11, I think, is the Sten gun, the British Sten gun with the magazine comes out of the side, which was, as far as I know, that was like a stamped sheet metal gun. That's why it was very popular, and they were able to mass produce them. That was the one problem with the Americans' Thompson submachine gun, is that it was a lot of work to produce, and it was like a high tolerance needed work of as far as machining and quality, good shit. But and that was the problem with a lot of the German stuff too, right? Especially like the Sturmgewehr, and even the K98 bolt action. Like Those are all machining works of art. But that's not necessarily what you need when you're fucking out there in the shit. So but the British seemed like they figured that out real. I'm sure some of it was also a necessity, right? Because there was a big shortage of different stuff. But that Sten utilizes at least the main part of the action, right? The grease gun, right? That's what they call the grease gun. They used it in there's a lot of World War II movies. Even the Americans are using them, but the Americans ended up having their own version later, which I can't remember what they fucking called it. But they all kind of ended up being called grease guns. But the main action utilizes like a lot of like low grade sheet metal type stuff, and there's just like a few high grade machine parts on the inside, and of course now you know like that's the idea of all, right? The military is definitely going with the lowest price on their stuff, right? Because they have to, um, which is always to me interesting, right? Because there's always people who go, "Oh yeah, this is what the military uses," and like, well, that's like the cheapest, most dispensable thing that they had come to the trials, right? And that's still a thing now. They just had some trials. The U.S. military just had some trials not long ago, and I think uh, like Steyr had a rifle, and I think Ruger had a rifle, and anyway, there was quite a few companies, but you know, they didn't go for some of the nicer, more reliable, best shit. They turned down because it cost too much to produce, and that's just the way of. I mean, that is the way of mass production, right? No matter what your product is, that always gets people in the long run, right? Yeah, yeah, that's what we were talking about. The E11 is the British. Is it a? Is it Steen? And then, like I said, the Americans had their own kind of version. They copied it, but I think the Americans was still in 45 ACP. Whereas I'm not sure what the standard British. They were using the 4.55 Webley revolver for fucking eons. And then which I think even during World War II, that was like their standard. They were still packing revolvers, just like like the Russians. The Russians, they had a rifle called the Nagant. And when you watch footage of stuff going on in the Ukraine right now, you can still see, like, there was that footage of those guys barebacking the horses, riding the horses down the road. Like, every one of those guys had a Nagant rifle, which is like from 1895 or something like that. It might even, I know the caliber of those predates 1895 even. And I can't remember, it was like 7.62 by 54R. It's a rimmed cartridge, which is, if you know anything about ammunition evolution, like just the fact that it's a rimmed cartridge is like, that's super antique shit, super antique stuff. Let me see here. The missus is unlocking the door. Hello. We're live, just so you know. Oh, you know? Okay. Let's see what Jumpy says. It says, basically, they changed the rear stock from the wooden triangular style to the tubular metal stock, flat back shoulder piece, and added the hand grip on the front under the barrel stock. Okay, you're talking about the Hoth, the Hoth Rebel Soldier firearm. Here's the short bus gang. Let me see if I can get to this comment. Yeah, the oldest I got is a Mauser. Yeah, we were just showing. This is a C96 Mauser, fully functional, all serial numbers matching. This one was produced in, I want to say 1918, but I'd have to go back to my Mauser book. Last three digits are 598, so that'll get you the year. But yeah, I have quite a few antiques. I also have I have a Russian Nagant pistol, which was the first revolver that could be silenced, right? Because it's the cylinder rotates and then pushes forward into the back of the barrel, right? So you have a gas seal, and then the ammunition for it, the brass case extends past the bullet, right? So instead of the bullet protruding from the top, like all ammunition we think of today, the brass case actually extends, and that piece is actually inside the barrel, right? So that was the first revolver that could be silenced, right? Or suppressed, whatever however you want to say that. And of course, a revolver is very hard to suppress because you have gas leakage on a traditional revolver, right? Any revolver you have, it has to have room. The cylinder has to have room to revolve around, so there's a gap in between the cylinder face and the barrel, right? And then so gas leak out of the side is how you're going to be able to hear that kind of noise, right? But so the 1895 Russian Nagant pistol, it rotates and then shoves forward, and the tenon of the barrel actually seats inside the inside of the. Happen to have a cylinder right here. This is a cylinder for the 1895, but it is an aftermarket one that is chambered in 32 ACP. Because you could get the 1895 Russian Nagant pistols. Man, back in the day, you could get those surplus for like $60, and you could still buy the original ammo. It was readily available, but not across the entire country. And then so there was a few companies that made these cylinders for the 32 ACP. Now this one, I have a light dusting of white paint on it because I plan on eventually doing some engraving on this. Matter of fact, stay right there. Stay right there. We're gonna test all these theories about things on live streams. So this is an 1895 Russian Nagant revolver. This was the first gun that I ever engraved, and so it's not perfect. You can see a little bit of, there's a couple scrolls here that aren't perfectly round. But I did this probably, gosh, I don't know. What year is it now? 25? I mean, yeah, I probably did this, 20 years ago. So I did and then you can see the engraving on this cylinder. I did all that. So I did all this by hand. This is a silver wire inlay. You can see these borders. See, this one's not. This one's got a little problem with it right there. Let me see if I can get it to focus. But yeah, this is silver inlay right here. All these little lines that you see. We have both sides engraved here. So yeah, I did all. But this is the Russian. So you can see this gap right here, right? If I put it like on my face and turn it, okay, you can see this gap right there, right? Which is normal for all revolvers. But as you can see, as it turns, it closes the gap. See that? And that's what effectively makes your gas seal for this to be effectively silenced. I'll show you this. This one is not perfect, but I feel like it's so small. I've always been kind of proud of that one, especially for my first attempt at engraving. So some super small, delicate work on this gun right here. Nice little fetal scroll there. And this one right here too. And I was engraving there for a while before I went back to Alaska for work. I was engraving, I was getting back into it, but I have since put it away. I kind of lacks the area to, I was doing it like right here on the kitchen table or the dining room table. And there's like metal chips on the floor and, but anyway, so my wife, my lovely wife, who's very understanding and great, kind of. Now, any other women would have been like, "Hey, motherfucker," blah, blah, blah. But she was like, this is kind of. I think she like stepped on a piece of metal. We had to like get it out with pliers. And she was like, this is a little inconvenient. And I took the hint right away, so I put that shit away. So she's looking at me now, but she's super cool. She's super cool. She definitely put up with it for quite a while. So, but just one more time, yeah, you can see that gap right there, right? So yeah, it rotates and then pops forward. So very cool. But this is I don't know what these cost now. They're starting to go up in price, right? To unload, once you've shot, when you unload, right? So you pop the loading gate and then you use this rod right here. You can see this rod. But this rod then has to be put back, has to be rotated back down and then locked, right? So, in 18, I don't know, the Russians, whatever, they're, I don't know, sneaky people. I don't know what the deal was, but like they were definitely enthralled with having a revolver that, that you could silence, but then, like I said, the issue becomes, okay, this holds 7, which is also, kind of unique in the revolver world, at least at most times. But yeah, once you've fired your 7, you have to unlock this rod with a little, like a half a turn, pull it out, rotate this entire piece, and then you are able to push your cartridges out. And these cartridges, like I was saying, that they the bullet is recessed down into the chamber, right? And so these are definitely, you got to put some chutzpah on it to get them out, because there's a lot of surface area. There's a lot of surface area in contact inside there, more so than a regular, I was going to say modern cartridge, but even at that time, right? So, and you can alleviate that with a nice polish inside your chamber, which this has work like that done. This is also a double action, which is very interesting, as a lot of revolvers. Now the Webley and the Merwin and Herbert, there was some double action revolvers, but I would say this is probably the first mass produced, and of course the Webley. But I think maybe the first series of Webleys were single action. But this is definitely one of the pioneers of mass-produced military double-action revolvers. And you can see the extra long firing pin. And it also has a rebounding hammer, right? So you can't see from that side because of the loading gate. So you can see the gap. You can see the gap right there, right? Right here, you can see the gap. And when the hammer fires, the inertia, you can see it right there. You can see the firing pin pop through, right? And so that's called a rebounding hammer, which was definitely a unique thing um, compared to a lot of other revolvers at that time. Let's see. Thank you, JT. Nice work for the first attempt. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I was at I went to a school for this, and I did get one of the highest grades. I had spent a lot of time practicing. And, there was a lot of other people, they were like, oh, I'm going to engrave my grandfather's whatever, whatever. And, I'm not going to say that I didn't have confidence, but I thought, you know what? I think for my first attempt, I'm going to bring my, like 25 years ago, you could get this for like $60, and then you could get a giant case of ammunition for with 1,000 fucking rounds. You could get that for like maybe another $60, right? So I said, well, if we're going to do anything, we'll do that first. And then I don't have very many more examples because I did them for customers. People would bring a gun and they'd say, hey, I want 80% coverage scroll work. I'd like some silver inlay, maybe my family crest or whatever. Or I'd like a deer head or whatever. So I don't have very many. I do have a couple more that I could show, but I mean, I don't know. We're not having a gun stream, are we? Or are we? I guess we are. I guess we are now. But anyway, yeah. We have a fairly nice. We have a fairly nice firearm collection here at the mothership. And yeah, Gary was showing me his custom DL44s. And I said, well, I've only, and that's why I told him, I said, hold on a second. I said, here's the only DL44 I have. But this is the, this is the real deal. And, and I'm not positive, Han's DL44 does have a shorter barrel. Now, whether or not whether they, possibly cut it off and then put that flash hider on it. But there was a model of a C96 commonly called the Bolo Mauser, and it has a 5-inch barrel. I think this is 7. What is this? Yeah, this is like a 7-inch barrel, and they did make a model. Now, it wasn't just simply cut off. It was because it was thinner here, right? They didn't just cut this off. The taper, the taper was basically maintained, so it had the same diameter at this end, but the whole barrel was moved back like 2 inches. So there is a Bolo Mauser out there that you can buy, which is usually much more affordable than the full-size 7-inch barrel. But yeah, I was very lucky to find this. Very lucky to find this and got it at a good price because, like I was telling Gary, at some point in the 60s, the guy I bought this from, his father, in the 1960s, decided to nickel plate this and have a custom ivory grip put on it. Now, of course, this is aged. I'm sure this was nice and white, but over the past 50 years or whatever that would be, it has aged to this nice John Wayne-ish yellow. But if this was in original condition and and was in good shape, no pitting in the steel, this would definitely have gone for like in the 4,000 to 5,000. range, at least at the time that I purchased this, which I've had this for quite a while. I take it out, I shoot it every once in a while. But an amazing, one of my favorite firearms of all time. One of my favorite. If you ever come across a C96, and you can buy it if it's affordable to you, buy it. Fucking buy it. And like I tell people all the time, right? A firearm is other than property. Firearm is pretty much the only thing that you can purchase that goes up in value, right? There's really nothing. There's really nothing else, you know. Arguably classic cars, but in recent years the classic car market has fucking plummeted, and it's still pretty far down. It's still pretty low. Instead of going to the Ford dealership and buying a new truck for $140,000, like you can buy like a refurbished 1957 Chevy Bel Air for about 20 grand. It may not meet all your needs, but if you're just, hey, there's a lot of guys here that are driving like Dodge 3500 dualies, and like they're not working. They don't, they're not using it as a fucking work truck. There's no scratches on the tailgate. You know what I mean? So I'm just saying, instead of spending more than I bought my fucking house for on a truck, fucking go buy a classic car, a classic restored car, or even just a customized one, right? Because if you're gonna run any kind of classic car, right? Engines back then, you need to add lead to your gas, which is doable. You can go buy a lead additive. But the other problem is that the older engines worked at much higher compression. So you have to run a super high octane, way higher than the 97 octane that you can get at your pump, right? Like gasoline back in the day was way better than anything you buy now, right? And you certainly can't have any ethanol in it. But there's a lot of cool cars out there that have been like frame off restorations, that put in like, a crate motor, like a Ramjet 350, or, or like these newer Vortec. I just bought a new rebuilt 5.3 Vortec to go in my Suburban, which is the same motor it had in it. I got about 480,000 miles out of the motor. So, and I was thinking about buying a new, I like Suburbans. I'm a Suburban kind of a guy. I have a family, so it covers, even when I didn't have a family, I drove Suburbans. When I was a kid, we had a Suburban. Suburbans are the shit. And, but now with a lot of these tariffs and shit on vehicles, which are mostly made, especially GM products, right? Like they're made in Canada and Mexico. And then, anything else, all your subsequent parts are made in China, There's a couple cool, good car parts you can get that are made in like Romania and stuff, that is not tariffed to shit. But anyway, those are obviously driving the price up of new cars, but it's also driving the price up of used cars, right? Because now the market bears, because a used car is still less than your new $100,000 shit, right? But like, my truck, when I bought it, it was probably like $5 grand. And, if you look to buy that truck now used, it's up to like 17, 18, even 20. And so I decided, putting in a new rebuilt engine way cheaper than fucking buying something new. So, but anyway, I see that we are losing people by the second because we're not talking about toys and Star Wars and all this other shit. But that's all right. JT would like to own a DeLorean. I could see that. Would you customize it up to look like the Back to the Future DeLorean, or would you just drive a DeLorean? I don't know. Left Coast says that he can't own a C96. Now, you know what? I think like you can't just go buy something like a firearm in Canada, but I think that there are licenses and background checks. I think that you are able to get some things, and a C96 may be in that realm, being that it's an antique. In this country we have you have to have an FFL and you have to fill out a 4473 to buy a firearm. But if a firearm was manufactured 100 years or older, it's considered a curio or relic. And there's actually like a whole different set of rules that are way easier because it's an antique. That's called a CNR license. It's called a curio and relic, and like that's why you can go into you can go into some antique stores. Like there's a lot of New Orleans and different places like that. But so you can find antique firearms for sale that you can just buy, but it's under the CNR license, right? And of course now, being 2025, 100 years ago, 1925, you're still in the modern age, right? So like any of your most of all your Smith and Wesson revolvers, 357 was invented, and I think a 357 was invented in 27. So, in a couple of years, basically any Model 10 or Model 19 Smith and Wesson and a 357 will now fall under the CNR license, right? And the only caveat to that is if it's a fully automatic, right? So you still can't go buy a 1925 Thompson submachine gun because it is a machine gun. But yeah, there's a lot of rifles, a lot of antique lever actions, right? All your cowboy guns, 1873 Colt single action, even 1911s, right? If you can get a 1911 that's manufactured prior to 1925, which there are a shit ton, right? Because they started manufacturing those in, you guessed it, 1911, right? So now that's under this CNR license. And yeah, I'm not sure about Canada. All I know is I do know people in Canada who own firearms, and I know that they can still buy most sporting rifles. But it's a big hassle. It's a big hassle. And of course, now with this new, I don't know if you're going to import a 30-round magazined AR, but if you wanted a Winchester Model 70 and 30-06 to go hunt moose with, definitely still able to do that, right? In your country. Yeah, JT. Yeah, the time machine, especially white wall tire. Yeah, absolutely. Custom engine. Yeah, I could see that. I don't know what a DeLorean goes for these days, but they were. Ricardo, I know you were here earlier. If I'm missing any chat, please forgive me. I'm just rambling now. We're probably going to go off here pretty soon, but I know you're here, brother. Eat an extra sandwich for me. Get some rest tonight if you can. But yeah, if I'm missing some chat, which I know I am, please forgive me, because this is definitely the new stream. What are we on? StreamYard? The new setup for it is definitely not as user friendly on the phone as it used to be. So short bus. I know we saw this one, but yeah. So what you have you have a K98? You have an 8mm. You got a Mauser bolt action rifle. Still the greatest bolt action rifle ever made. I have to tell you, K98 Mauser is the shit, and definitely a great firearm. Though one of the most amazing things, I'll give you this little tidbit of information. So the K98 Mausers are they are like differentially heat treated, right? They are heat treated like a crankshaft in your motor. The outside surfaces are tempered extremely hard for wear and stuff, but the inside is still fairly gummy, and that's like a technical machining term, right? The reason for that is your action will not grenade if you have like a malfunction, right? And no. Anyway, we've done this when I was in college for machining and gun manufacturing. But you can literally put a barrel on a K98 Mauser that's not finished, that has no exit in the barrel. And when you shoot, the gas is redirected, right? So there's the gas that will come out and around the chamber is directed down into the magazine box. And because the inside is still gumming like a crankshaft in your engine, it will bulge, right? But it will not grenade. And but that's one of the reasons why it was one of the best battle rifles of all time. And I think we shot 3 or 4 rounds through a plugged barrel, and like we were using a 2x4 to like hammer the bolt open to extract the cartridge, and but it never grenaded. And like that is one of the pinnacles of why the K98 was one of the best battle rifles of all time. And yeah, if you ever have a chance to buy a German Mauser, basically of any kind, even today they make great stuff. Always buy it. So anyway, I'm just rambling. We're at the 2-hour mark. I appreciate everybody for showing up. Thanks to Gary. Had a great time. Just whatever, talking shit, lacking around. Gary dubbed the show Talking Smack with LAK. It's a great name. Let me know in the after this has been posted, come back. Please hit the like button. Leave if you have any questions or comments, or if you think the name of the show was awesome, come back and leave that in the comments. Not necessarily in the chat now, but in the comments of the actual video. Let me see what our friend Ricardo says here real quick. I think that's one thing I love about Texas. As long as you can pass the background check, you are good to buy firearms. We have no permit to carry open. Oh, y'all have open carry? That's pretty neat. I'm not a huge proponent of it for me personally, but I do think that's neat. When I was in Arizona, you still had to have your concealed weapons permit, but you were allowed to open carry. And when you get outside of Phoenix, when you get away from Phoenix, everybody, I would go to the gas station in the morning to get a cup of coffee or do whatever, and everyone in line at the gas station would be open carrying something, right? So, and I just remember, like, I went in there one day, there's like 3 normal dudes with their Glocks, and then there was like some like super hot, somebody's super hot mom in her tight jeans, and she had a 1911 and 2 mags. And then there was a guy we used to see all the time. He was a farrier. He shoot horses for a living, but he always dressed up like a cowboy. And he has like 2 single action, like 45s. And needless to say, crime was very low. Crime is super low outside of Phoenix in Arizona, or at least at that time it was. Because, you'd walk in anywhere and, there'd be like 15 people fucking strapped. So just needless to say, there's not many people robbing gas stations and shit in northern Arizona because everybody was ready. There's no open carry in the state I'm in now, but they did change. You used to have a concealed weapons license, but now you do not have to have the license to carry concealed. As long as you are legal to own a handgun, you can carry it concealed. And so that's pretty neat. I have had a license for a number of years. And I still keep mine up to date. The one thing with a concealed weapons license from my state where I'm at now is it has reciprocity with a huge percentage, a multitude of states. So like if you live here and you don't have a concealed carry, you can still carry your gun concealed as long as you're legal and it's legal. But if you take a road trip to somewhere, you don't have the right necessarily. And that changes from state to state, right? But that you don't have that right. Whereas if you still have that license, it carries legal reciprocity with other states who don't have, the same laws as not needing a concealed carry permit. So it's worth getting. Also, if there's any, hey, Brett is at a Empire Strikes Back burlesque show. What the fuck over? That sounds awesome. So I hope we get some footage, or I will be Googling what the fuck that is as soon as we're off here and hoping it will come to my town. But yeah, I always recommend if you are in a state that has concealed carry permits, even if you don't have to have one anymore, I would recommend going to the class, getting it. And the one thing is if, God forbid, anything ever happens that you do need to protect yourself or you do have to use that, it's, and I am not a lawyer and I'm not giving legal advice and da-da-da-da-da, but having that permit is it'll be a lot easier on you in the long run, and that's some serious shit. If you're going to carry something, go train with it, take some classes, learn how to fucking use it, and never pull it unless you are going to use it. And you see a lot of people these days, they get in, if it's not worth using it, then just, then you need to just leave the situation. That's how you got to look at it. But it's always better to not have it, or not need it but have it, than to need it and not have it, right? So definitely go get your concealed permits if your state is gives out those classes and stuff. And it's pretty simple, but it's definitely better in the long run. Also, in most states that I know, right? So there's usually a waiting period. If you do go buy a firearm, there is, especially handguns, there is a waiting period. If you have that concealed weapons license, you don't have to wait, right? You can walk out of the store with it right then. It also makes the background check, most 4473 background checks, right? They take whatever, your name, rank, serial number, social security number, all that. And some places it can take, some places make you come back the next day because they'll send all their paperwork in at once, right? Some places do the phone call. I've been to one store recently where you actually fill it out electronically, so all that's quicker. But if you have a state issued concealed weapons license, it's almost instantaneous, right? It's instantaneous. And then, you can buy some ammo and walk right out and go to the range. BOE, it's good to see you. We will have to get together sometime. We'll have to do a chat on one of our channels. Always enjoy seeing you, my friend. Always enjoy talking with you. We'll talk about World War II and all kinds of stuff. But anyway, it's good to see you, my friend. Take care of yourself. Take care of yourself. And everyone else who has joined us, I really appreciate it. We've had a good time. Again, thanks to Gary for this big boss man. And so, yeah, because of my new job, everybody's sending me big boss man items, which is quite comical and appreciated. So thank y'all very much. Anyway, I've been General LAK Sivrak. Hit the like button on your way out. Appreciate everybody. And keep eyes up on the channel. We'll be doing a Star Wars Herglick custom off of this dilapidated Street Sharks. We will be putting some shelves in for the Rancor pit and hopefully the like a dungeon and maybe the droid torture chamber. I'm still trying to figure out how to do that. So when it's all said and done, we should have multiple levels here, right? So we'll have like a Rancor pit, and then we'll have at least one, maybe two more levels of the underbellies of LAK's throne room. So anyway, thank you for joining us, and I hope everybody's doing well out there. Hit me up on Instagram, LAK Sivrak. Subscribe to the channel. There's a lot of awesome people in the chat who have channels. I know Rolando dropped some links. Subscribe to all those people. Make sure you subscribe to Gary's Grails, my awesome co-host who was here earlier. And I'll see you on down the trail. Everybody take care of yourself. Have a good night.